Okay, so the last video was kind of like happy, and this one's a little bit sad. So and this comes from a game that I like to play, a little thing we do with my daughter, who's 2.5, and man, she's just like so adorable, right? She's like the shizzle, and like we do like happy, sad, and we look in the mirror and like anyway, it's I love her. Okay, but so this was a little, it's not sad, but like the message is a little less uplifting here. But we do have to speak the full gamut of truth here. We need to, it's the power of truth, right? Let's just educate people. That's all we're doing. Okay? Not telling people. We're not saying this is this. We're not saying that is that. And we're not, saying, people are bad or good or whatever. We're just educating people. Okay? So that they can make fully informed choices. Because you have choices to make in this area. Okay? And we just want people to be fully informed. Their choices are their choices. Our choices were our choices. But looking back, I would have made different choices had I been fully informed. I think Katy would too. So just trying to help people, man. What is the harm in like just speaking truth? Just put, there's a lot of people that don't like me talking. You know what I'm saying? Actually, not a lot. A very vocal minority. And kind of Katy too, but mostly just because she's in my ambit. Although, as you find out, Katy can talk for herself. She's the nicest person you'll ever meet. But if you're in the way of doing the right thing, she can talk. Yeah. So, what are we talking about today? So, we're trying. We did the last video about it. We're doing, trying to create this thing. Just give people what they want, what we would have wanted. If back when we were in that state, having lived this experience experientially, very broad, very deep. Both Katy and I, it's we can relate. I feel like in a very specific way that few can that who don't have that experience personally as parents, divorced, separated parents, and who haven't gone through the system in the way that we have. It's very logical. It seems to me that I do think it makes us better lawyers in the sense that better able to serve our clients' needs, to attend to the full scope of their needs, to understand them, to know them, because those needs aren't just merely, getting orders generated from the court. They're human needs. These are vulnerable people. These are suffering people. These are the least of God's brothers and sisters, least of our brothers and sisters, in the sense that they have the least, and we feel called to serve. I don't know what to tell you. If the most good you can do is helping the least of our brothers and sisters, we are uniquely in a position to do that, in that these are people quietly suffering. We've quietly suffered in the past. These are our peeps. That's the happy. What's the sad? Well, the sad is we have to recognize that, look, man, this space is like, you want to be educated. You want to be educated. Because, thank you, Dr. Tara Hardman, for my shirt. She's a lion. Best cosmetic dentist in all of the tri-state, probably the whole country. I'm not even kidding. Wonderful person, and mom, go see her, okay? For sure. Tara Hardman Cosmetic Dentistry. She goes 1,000,000 miles a minute. It is the most professional. You trust me on this, okay? Go see her. Anyway, thanks, Dr. T. But the point is that we have, if you are not a lion, you could end up being a sheep. Disclaimer, these are metaphors, and none of my adversaries should take this video and take it into court and play a select clip and allege that Ben is, violating the Fish and Wildlife laws or, insulting PETA, and therefore should be taken off Facebook. It's a metaphor, people. What's wrong with you? Lion and sheep, okay? $100 says that's exactly what happens, though. I'm telling you, this space is so dumb you can't even you get dumber. You want to get in, get out before you lose your brain cells. All right, and that's part of the thing. So if you're not careful, guys, you can be a sheep. If you're sheepish about how you navigate the space, navigating the minefield of the courts in the divorce and parenting space. I think in general, but definitely in Kent County. But I think in general too. Don't be sheepish. You're going to get eaten by a lion. Okay? Now that doesn't mean to go be a come on now. We're all adults here. We understand this. But if you start to get the sense that you are a sheep, you're being led around like blind sheep. Hey, just do what I say and don't ask questions. My favorite. If I'm going to take you on as a client, you're going to do exactly what I say, only what I say. And if you don't do what I say, I'm going to fire you. Whoa! Hold on there. Like, that is not, that's one way to do it. What is that about? Okay, we're hiring legal counsel to advise us about the law so that we can make decisions as parents. We're not delegating our autonomy and our humanity to some third-party professional. Unbelievable. A third-party professional. I'm taking the advice of counsel. Well, that's your choice. Hold on now, that's your choice. You got a choice. If you choose to be a sheep, that's your choice. Don't act like, they told me to do it. Okay, let me tell you, that doesn't work in life. That doesn't work in court. Certainly, if that were, my criminal practice would be a lot different. Our philosophical approach would be different. If they told me to do it, we'd take a slightly different tack. Look, man, we all got to be adults. We all got to be parents. We all got to step up. Your choice. It's your choice. Your choice. You, right there. You. Are you a sheep or a lion? I'm just kidding. But honestly, don't be sheepish. Because there's some really dangerous scenarios that can unfold here. If we willingly choose to be sheep and delegate our parental responsibility to attorneys, you talk about a bad transaction. To attorneys who are going to demand that we grant them, that we cede to them our parenthood, our decision-making authority over life, over kids. All this stuff affects kids. No, baby, no. Okay, we shouldn't be surprised if that decision-making authority is used not to help us as clients and not to help, sure as shit, our kids, but to serve them. Come on now. Let's just speak candidly. I'm just hypothesizing here, not suggesting that I've seen anything like this. Abstractly, we must acknowledge that it could happen. And you could get in some really, really, really bad circumstances that raise some really, really, really troubling questions that if we're even close enough to have to ask these questions, we should just freeze and recognize something has gone terribly wrong. Let me hypothesize. Purely a hypothesis. A scenario in which an attorney takes on a representation and so demands such fealty, such loyalty. You're going to do what I say. Here's the deal. And for that, they get paid. Let me explain this kind of transaction. Let's just all understand this. Here's the deal. I'm going to represent you in court. We're going to go whoop some ass. We're going to go kill this guy or girl. We're going to go blow up everything. We're going to hurt them. Hurt your kids. If you're hurting the other parents, you're hurting your kid. Get over it. That's anybody that wants to ignore that truth is just being selfish. It's I'm not arguing. Any parent knows that. Duh. If you're hurting the other parent, you're hurting your kids. Okay? And any lawyer that wants you to ain't serving your kids. Okay? We can talk about whether they're serving you, but they ain't serving your kids. But what if that lawyer says, I'll represent you, because you need a lawyer. after all your meek, you don't have experience with this. You're not naturally a lion. You're a sheep. You're sheepish. Not in a pejorative way. Okay, that's just the nature of who you are. You don't know this stuff. You need to trust somebody, and they come in and they're lying. They say, look, you do that, I'm going to go. You need to do all this stuff. You need to hurt this guy, you tear it down, you need all this stuff. We'll mess stuff up. I'll get you the kids. I'll get you a bunch of money. And you'll never have to deal with them again. You'll live happy out of it. Kids won't have a dad. Kids won't have a mom, whatever. Okay, but that's the spiel. But in exchange, okay, obviously, in exchange, you have to cede all decision-making authority to me. If I tell you to do it, you do it. You don't do what I say, I'm not going to represent you. Okay. In exchange for that, you have to pay me a lot of money. It's unbelievable that anybody would sign up for that deal. But nonetheless, you have lions that prey on sheep, and all of a sudden you have a lion that can control a sheep. And what then if that representation, let's say the client racks up a $100,000 bill, just for easy math, or just because it's a number, $166,295,000 in legal fees, just random number. But that client doesn't have the ability to pay that. And let's say that the level of legal control becomes so great and the lawyer starts inserting their own interest to demand actions which are transparently not in the client's best interest, that emotionally, that hurt the client. And the client deep down knows it hurts the client. The client knows this isn't the right way to go. And let's say they want to change. They still need a lawyer, right? They can't. And they tell the, you do what I say. Look, if you don't do what I say, then you'll get yourself another lawyer. And you owe me $100,000. That ain't good, guys. Happy, sad? That's sad. Now, I'm not saying that I've seen this stuff, but I ain't saying that I haven't. And that's fucked up. That's sad. So, just a little educational video from the good lions who care about all the sheep. Happy Saturday.